The FCX10 has arrived. Any FCX24 K5 Blazer owners out there who love their rigs but wish it was just a little larger? Well, have I got some good news for you. FMS's first entry into the more conventional mass-market 10-scale crawler scene is finally here. No longer standing in an empty playing field with their unique, low-cost, smaller-scale, highly detailed, hard-bodied, very lifelike radio-controlled models. No, now there's plenty of similar trucks on the market that this FCX10 will have to compete with. The FCX24 and FCX18 have proved to be a phenomenal platform for many RC enthusiasts, perhaps some of the best micro-scale RC crawlers on the market. But can the FCX10 really do the same in the much more popular 10-scale scene? Well, of course time will tell, but today let's have a look at this new rig. A quick look at the box reveals the many features of this ready-to-run truck. Portal axles, a 2-speed transmission, dig, locking differentials, full light kit, full ball bearings, full metal gears, adjustable shocks. I'm surprised there aren't cup holders in this thing too. When ordering, you'll have the choice between 3 different colors: black, 2-tone orange and white, and 2-tone brown and yellow. The orange rig that I have here looks sweet, but I want to quickly showcase some of the other items that were included with this truck. This includes a bed cap, inner fenders, light buckets for the bed-mounted roll bar, a wheel wrench, and optional license plate decals. A detailed manual is also included. The one thing that seems to be missing from the manual, unless I missed it, is instructions on how to set the transmission for the optional rear-wheel drive function rather than the dig function. You can either set this truck up to have front-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and dig, or front-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and rear-wheel drive. Out of the box, the truck comes with the former setup. There are, however, instructions on how to install the rear bed cap or the light buckets that go on top of the roll bar. Unlike a real K5 Blazer, there's a rear window and pickup bed in the back. Not very accurate, but it's a good-looking truck either in pickup or SUV form with matte black paint added to the bed. I do like the body mounts that they have on this truck. You just squeeze on these tabs and the body slides up. As you might be able to see here, there's also 2 locations for the body, one being higher up. A cool idea, though with no apparent easy way to increase the height of the bumpers and rock sliders, I'm not sure why you'd place the body at this height. I decided to install the rear cap, which is pretty easy, though does involve drilling holes into this brand new body. Now it's a Blazer. The piece fits pretty well, and it feels reasonably durable. If you're really going to be bashing on this truck though, you're probably better off just leaving the roll bar as is and not installing either the bed cap or the lights. Please pardon the bad looking window decals. Part of it is that the window decals were creased pretty bad, and the other part of it was I just wasn't super careful applying them and got some air bubbles inside. You can run a knife around the simulated weather stripping there and then peel that center part out. It will look a lot better. Next, I'll go ahead and install the inner fenders. This is very easy, as you just unscrew a few fasteners from the chassis, put each inner fender in its place, and reinstall each screw. And now we can see this officially licensed K5 Blazer in all its glory. Although not an injection molded hardbody like we've seen on many other FMS products, they've done a pretty good job with this polycarbonate body. There's a number of plastic details such as the grille, door handles, mirrors, windshield wipers, and lights. Also some nice looking emblems and trim running down the sides of the body. There is a full light kit with the turn signals always coming on when the steering wheel turns. Out of the box, the brake lights would only come on when reversing, but if you move the plug, you can get them to come on when braking. The rear turn signal is also placed where the reverse lights would be on a full-size Blazer. Not the best lighting arrangement ever, though I do still appreciate the warm-colored LEDs for the headlights. Clearly they put some effort into incorporating lights on this body. You'd think they would have made it a little more accurate, but it is what it is. You can change it if you want, either by moving the plugs around, doing a little rewiring, or installing your own light module. You can also just unplug it altogether. I wouldn't say it's perfect or the best looking 10-scale K5 Blazer body, but I do think they've done a good job, all things considered. A lot of the same inaccuracies we saw on the FCX24 K5 Blazer are present here as well. It's basically just a larger size and lacking some of the crisp detail of the FCX24's hardbody. I'd imagine we might see some more body options at some point in the future. I don't see any optional body mounting parts included, or really an easy way to mount an aftermarket body without some custom work. I do think the addition of some scale center caps for these wheels and a simple interior would really elevate the appearance of this truck. I'll see what I can do to enhance the appearance. Something kind of cool is that power for the lights is sent via magnets rather than having to unplug a connector. Not that unplugging the lights is some Herculean task, but it's a nice touch. Underneath, there's a solid chassis with metal gears and links. All the fasteners are hex head as far as I can tell. Axle-mounted steering servo with 4 links both front and rear, portal axles, and pretty much everything centrally located for even weight distribution front and rear. Of course, the inclusion of things like diff locks and the 2-speed transmission adds some additional servos and wiring to the chassis. These differential locks do seem a bit exposed, but overall everything is kept tidy and compact. The suspension feels alright, though I do notice that the rear shocks in particular on this truck sometimes get a bit stuck for some reason. I wouldn't say that this is the best feeling suspension out of the box relative to some other 10-scale crawlers I have experience with, but of course they are oil-filled and they are adjustable. I ended up adjusting the rears as it was sagging quite a bit, but the truck sits up much more level now and has some pretty good flex. While this is a ready-to-run truck, keep in mind you will need to provide your own battery both for the transmitter and truck. Standard size hard case LiPos will fit perfectly. The included ESC is both 2S and 3S LiPo compatible with an XT60 connector. I do like the wheels, and I like that they aren't just using a generic design like they did with the Toyota FJ40 and Michigan. It's obviously modeled after a GM rally wheel that would have been seen on a real K5 Blazer, though it is lacking detail in the center. Maybe we can fix that with some 3D printing. These are one-piece wheels with tires glued in place, and of course there is foam on the inside. The tires seem alright, though I think the hardcore crawler guys will definitely want to change them out. They worked pretty good in some spots out on the trails, but other spots I felt they really struggled, and just getting some better tires would have really helped this truck get over certain obstacles. Next, let's have a look at the included transmitter. It's got buttons, it's got knobs, it's got switches, it's got a little of everything. I do like that it's easy to drive one-handed, and I also like that it contains a JST plug for a 2S LiPo battery to be used to power the transmitter as an alternative to 4 AA batteries. Though it doesn't give you a ton of space for the battery, I think we can 3D print a fix for that though. Obviously, for a more comprehensive look, see the manual, but basically channel 7 and 8 are for your front and rear diff locks. Channel 11 allows you to adjust the drag brake intensity, channel 5 turns off and on the lights, channel 6 switches in between the front wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and dig, or front wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and rear wheel drive, and finally channel 4 switches between low and high gear. The buttons light up, which is not only cool looking, but it's sort of handy to give you an indication of whether the function is activated or not. Well, it certainly looks good, so let's throw in a battery and take it out onto the trails. Mud, rocks, sand, even some water, the FCX10 is ready to conquer just about anything you can throw at it. The truck was surprisingly capable at times, easily matching some of the other 10-scale ready-to-run crawler platforms I've had the opportunity to drive. The truck has a pretty low center of gravity while still retaining portal axles with a lot of ground clearance, though I think a tad bit more of a front weight bias could have helped in certain scenarios. The 2-speed transmission provides plenty of torque in low speed, while the high speed lets the truck travel way faster than a walking pace. Of course, the top speed, which is what you're seeing here, is certainly not up to the level of a basher, but like with the smaller scale FCX trucks, there's really no compromise. You want to do some slow speed crawling? No problem. You want to walk or heck run with this truck down the trails? It'll do it. The turning radius is very tight, especially when you disengage the differential locks. The truck can turn even tighter when engaging the dig function, which locks the rear wheels so the truck can pivot. Well, that's the idea anyway. I've found it useful under some circumstances, but the other times the front wheels seem more inclined to just dig themselves a hole than actually rotate the truck. Maybe a little more weight and traction up front is needed to really enhance this feature, or maybe very hard, solid, more level ground is simply a requirement. The front wheel drive option, well, it's there. Maybe you can save a bit of battery if you're driving on level ground. It is a bit unfortunate that to enable the more accurate rear wheel drive function, you need to open up the transmission, and by doing so, you will not be able to use the dig function. I will say though, in my opinion, it was a good choice that FMS made the dig function the default, as I think most buyers of this truck will prefer the dig versus a 2-wheel drive. By and large, it's kind of hard for me to find much to nitpick in terms of out-of-the-box performance. Of course, there's certainly room for improvement. Getting some more weight up front, removing or changing the bumpers, and getting some better tires would probably be among my first choice of upgrades if I was really wanting to enhance the off-road capabilities of this truck. For a stock steering servo, I thought it was alright, though if you're really going to be tackling the rocks, you might want to upgrade it. While I really love the fact that the drag brake is easily adjustable right from the transmitter, be aware it's not the strongest drag brake when the truck is really on an incline. I'm sure an ESC and motor upgrade will be on the list for more die-hard crawler enthusiasts. Again though, what's here in stock form is certainly usable, and at least on par, if not better in some instances, than the other 10-scale ready-to-run crawlers I've driven prior. I did beat on this truck more after filming a lot of the shots that you're seeing right now, which really are more trail running than actual rock crawling. I didn't have my usual cameraman on this day, but hopefully this at least gives you something nice to look at, if not entirely representative of some of the more challenging crawling I've done with this truck so far. Fortunately, so far no damage or malfunctions to report. I did learn and took my own advice from that FJ40 review, and I diligently went over all of the hardware that I could easily access and made sure everything was tight and looked okay. I also took the extra step of removing the fastener from the servo arm, applied a little Loctite, and reinstalled it. Nice to see a metal servo arm here, considering that seemed to be a bit of an Achilles heel with the prior 10-scale releases from FMS. Overall, this truck is a real joy to drive, whether crawling or cruising down some trails at pretty high speeds. Certainly a much more refined and capable 10-scale chassis than those released by FMS prior. Not to say that the old platform was bad or didn't have potential, but in many ways I think this one is better. FMS fans who have been waiting for a more performance-focused 10-scale crawler, well, here it is. FMS's FCX platform is all grown up. While personally, I'm more of a fan of the highly detailed hard-body trucks FMS has produced, and I really don't care if they're a little larger or smaller than 1/10 scale, I can't deny the appeal this FCX10 will have to more casual hobbyists or those looking for something closer to a crawler than a trail truck. I do think that FMS has done a good job of dressing this truck up and giving it a nice scale appearance, even if limited by the fact that this truck needs to meet certain performance and cost criteria. It's not like they just slapped on a basic unlicensed Lexan body with bumpers molded into it and added no molded plastic details, blacked out the windows, and called it a day. While the pickup truck bed might not be the most accurate, I do think it looks good either in pickup or SUV form, and it's kind of cool that they give buyers the choice of how they want their truck to look. While it might not stand out much from other more established 1/10 scale platforms already on the market, it's clear FMS wants a slice of that pie, and with the amount of features that's on offer and the likelihood this truck will sell for less than its competition, FMS could certainly have a winner here with the FCX10. Is this definitively the best 1/10 scale crawler on the market right now? I think that's really hard to say, and it is of course somewhat subjective. Really, I'm also not the most qualified person to answer that question anyways. In my opinion, a lot will come down to what this truck is priced at. At the time of making this video, I do not know what the price of this truck will be. I think if they can get it below $400, it would be a pretty sweet deal, but over $500, and I think most people would want to stick with the more established manufacturers. At the end of the day, I think what you see is what you get. It's a fun truck to drive with a lot of cool features underneath, and a great looking square body on top. What more could you ask for? Well, okay, a hard body, but aside from that. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this look at the new FCX10 K5 Blazer. I'm looking forward to doing a few mods on this rig, which will be pretty fun. I have posted the link to the FMS website where this truck can be purchased if you're interested in ordering one. If you have any questions about this truck, feel free to drop them below in the comments, and I'll do the best I can to answer them. I want to thank FMS for sending this rig for review, and of course a huge thanks to all of you for watching.